There are Kickstarters that make just the right amount of money to create a 5th edition book for you, and you get that book added to your collection, and you're like, hey, a cool book, and you will use it every now and then. Then there are Kickstarters that are asking for an amount of money, get way more money, and they put all that money into creating a even cooler book than you were expecting, and when you get that book, you're like, wow, this is more than I was expecting. And then there are Kickstarters that make such a ridiculous amount of money that I need to talk about it. Let's talk about Tanares RPG for 5th edition. Hi there, fellow role players and game masters. My name is Mr. Tarask, still your go-to YouTube channel for everything third-party Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition related, and I am talking about Tanares RPG for 5th edition right now. And wow, I mean, they were looking for $50,000, and they've already made $1,591,518. So they made a lot of more than $1.5 million, only almost $1.6 million in order to create Tanares RPG. And I'm not even surprised by that, because Tanares RPG is not just your regular Kickstarter for a book of a new setting, that's just a book with a new setting, or a book but with a bunch of monsters, or an adventure like I kickstarted, or whatever. It is all of that together and a lot more. Tanares RPG is a complete package. So what is Tanares RPG in short? Well, I have to kind of compare it with Kobold Press. I'm sorry that I have to do that, but it is a complete thing. Just like where Kobold Press has the Midgard campaign setting, they have their own monster books, they have their own classes, their own player books, their own adventure books. Tanares RPG is kind of doing the same thing, but in their way. It's completely different in a way, but it is the same kind of idea where you can just leave Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition to the side somewhere, the official stuff from Wizards of the Coast, and you take Tanares RPG, which is basically the same system as 5th edition. It is a 5th edition system, but it's completely new. It is not Forgotten Realms, it's not the monsters from the Forgotten Realms, it is Tanares RPG, which is its own thing. And let's just look at it, and I will show you what I think is cool. First of all, the art is amazing. I have one major complaint with this, and well, it's not a major complaint, it's like a nitpicky complaint. Like, you know me, if you know my channel, I'm very nitpicky on some stuff, and that is the title, Tanares RPG for 5e. The font of this title, not really the font, but just a total thing right there, reminds me more of a mobile game on my cell phone, like Raid Shadow Legends and stuff like that, then it suits an RPG book for me. It's kind of too flashy, too much out there. It looks more like one of those MMORPGs than it looks, or like it's supposed to be on a board game or whatever. Okay, there is a board game called Tanares, but this title like this for me personally belongs on a board game. That's the only complaint I have. First of all, who's working on this? There's just a guy called Ed Greenwood. I don't know. He's the creator of the Forgotten Realms. I don't know who he is. He's just a guy with a beard. No, he's freaking Ed Greenwood. He created the Forgotten Realms, which is absolutely amazing. They're writing this together with a bunch of people known and loved in the RPG setting and beyond. So if you know any of these people, there's a few names that come up that we know that are there's just an amazing team, right? So Tanares RPG, if you watch the trailer is, by the way, super awesomely made. So creating this Kickstarter page has cost a lot of money. I mean, there's art in here. It's almost, there's so much art. There's so much stuff going on that I think they're like creating this page alone cost like a gazillion euros or whatever. So it is just everything sits right with me when I scroll this Kickstarter. I'm just like, yeah, this is going to be completely amazing. So there is a player guide, kind of. There is a campaign source book. Well, they call this the player's guide to Tanares, the Tanares campaign source book, and the adventure in the realms of madness. So in short, we have a player guide that gives you a lot of options, probably new spells, new stuff, all types of new magic guides, maybe, I don't know, and 4 new classes, entirely new classes. It says entirely new classes, which I think is awesome, because I always love it when they do new classes and not per se subclasses. They might have a bunch of subclasses for the already existing classes in the player's handbook, but I love it when they do full on new classes. I just love it when somebody has the guts to do that, because there's 12 classes in the player's handbook, if I'm not mistaken, but there's so much more to do there. And although you can kind of build everything with the 12 base classes and some of the books by Wizards of the Coast, building entirely new classes is just awesome, and I like Tanares for doing that. I'm always very curious to read that. I almost never played them, but I know a lot of people that do, because I'm blessed with the forever Dungeon Master book. I'm always DMing games. I'm almost never playing in games. Then there is the Tanares Campaign Source Book, your source for places of extreme geography with hidden dragon lairs, such ruins. Create and deal with natural catastrophes that forever change your maps and landscapes. They talk about this in the trailer, and I really like that, where you might have a map of a town or whatever, and your players make a few decisions, and then suddenly something bad happens, and the town gets completely wrecked or something. I'm just using my imagination right now, and it is completely different after that. So you can have like a mountain swiped away from the face of the earth or whatever. I like that idea where the world is always like changing, and it's not just like this is the world and it's going to be this for the next 100, 200 years. No, this is the world, and if you screw up, the world will look differently. So your players will have like they will have a saying in what the world does and how the world responds to their activities. There's more than 100 new monsters. There's even more probably with the stretch goals, new points of interest, deeply political, culturally diverse, fragmented world. It's kind of reminds me of Odyssey of the Dragon Lords type of thing, where it's just an entirely fleshed out thing, just complete with everything, but this is just in 3 books, while Odyssey is in 1 book. Okay, there's also a player guide, but everything in the player guide is also in the big book. So there's like 1 big book for Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, and these are 3 books with over 700 pages in total. It's going to be big. It's going to be completely big. Probably most of you people who are watching this video already backed this, but I don't care. I just want to talk about, give you my opinion, why I like it. Unforgettable characters, dungeons, and experiences in the adventures in the realms of madness. This is a 300-page journey through legendary dungeons where you can expect the unexpected. They keep saying that on their Kickstarter page, expect the unexpected, but I don't really know what to expect. But that is because it's unexpected. If it's unexpected, I will not expect it, but I don't know what to expect with the unexpected, if you catch my drift. They're saying it is not just somewhere on the Kickstarter page, they say it's not just picking up a quest from an inn, going to a dungeon, clearing the dungeon, beating some monsters, doing some puzzles. It's more than that, but I'm really curious to know what is more than that. Any pledge tier, by the way, that includes all digital books and files, will receive maps, monsters, and items in high resolution, ready to use in your virtual tabletop platform, which is cool. I'm, by the way, also doing that for my Kickstarter. So if you go to the link in the description below, my own Kickstarter, which you can late pledge, pre-order, and you will get also everything for the virtual tabletops, which is cool. There's also, by the way, I will talk about this later, a way to play solo or with like only 1 dungeon master or whatever, because they have this system in place where you can build a team around your character, and you even have a sheet, a sort of character sheet to manage your team. So you can level up your team, you can give them powers, you can give them abilities, and you have your own character, and then you have your crew that is just following you around with all kinds of different powers and stuff like that. New stretch goals that are yet to be done. Cards, female Dragonblade Mini. I really like that. They're doing like the Dragonblade is one of the new classes in Tanares, entirely new classes, and they're doing a female version in the miniature version. Now, these stretch goals we unlocked. There's so much going on here. 26 miniatures, and when I go here and go to the top tiers to get right here, these super kits, this is like the entire RPG with the miniatures, and they don't talk about how many miniatures because that was dependent on how much the stretch goals were. So if I read this correctly, you'll receive backers who want RPGs and minis or returning backer who wants RPG and the new minis plus cards. You'll get all the digital books and the files, the essential kit, the miniatures and cards, and the more applicable stretch goals. There are more 100 cards with the quest campaign arc, stuff like that. 40 plus new monsters and 24 locations and 3 subclasses are already added. This stuff is all already added. And Ed Greenwood will create a villain and a or a hero or whatever as an extra. Just now, that's all jitter jatter. I know. What is Tanares and what are you getting? First of all, you're getting a, you can buy 1 digital book. So here's what I mean with it. If you see this tablet and this cell phone, it really looks like a mobile game to me. It really looks like that. Other than that, I know it's just, the art is amazing. This kind of looks like a combination of Wonder Woman meets Superwoman meets, I don't know, meets just an epic woman standing in epic armor with an epic blue, epic red, and epic gold, and she looks epic. She just looks really epic. There's the hardcover book plus PDF you can pick up. There's all the digital books plus files, of course, like always, but this is where it gets interesting, right? The Essentials Kit. Look at this. Now, what I want to talk about real quick. There's a cool Game Master screen. Looks super cool. There's the 3 books with the 3 PDFs, but there's also this... they call it a hard slipcase with illustrated interior, and that's what I want to talk about. The interior looks really cool. You can see it in the trailer way better. It looks like a kind of hallway with a torch, a lit torch, and there's some gold on the floor. I think that is a really cool touch. I have the sleeve for the 4th edition books. I don't have the sleeve for the 5th edition books, but having a sleeve for like the 3 books is super cool. And having an interior art for it is really cool. Something you rarely see when you have one of those sleeves, and you rarely look upon the inside, because most of the time your books will be in there, but once you take your books out, it will have an inside and it will not just be black or white. And that, I absolutely love those kinds of details. For me, this design, I hope they stay with this design. But because everything is subject to change, it is a Kickstarter. It is all an example. But I wish they would like make one side where it doesn't say Tanares RPG, and it just only has the head. I don't know if you ever saw that Star Wars trilogy, original trilogy packet with like the Darth Vader face on the right hand side, and it's just Darth Vader face, boom, there doesn't say Star Wars, doesn't say anything, it's just Darth Vader. I really like that more than with the title, because it just gives like this. If somebody looks at it and just sees this dragon head, they will be like, hey, what's that? Even if they don't play D&D, they will want to know what it is. They might think it's some kind of, I don't know, a CD cover for a bunch of CDs for like a gothic band or something like that. But it looks cool on your shelf, at home, wherever. Without the title, it looks even cooler to me. There is a big ass map, one-sized double poster. The setting, kinda like, first glance, kind of resembles Europe in a way, where the bottom part is like the top part of Africa, and then the top part like is Europe, and it then goes into like Russia and whatever. I like that, but it's just, I don't know. It's just I've seen it, because there's Europe. I've seen Europe, and there is also Midgard, which also resembles Europe. And I just think, I don't know. It is cool. The colors pop, and it looks like a really well done map, but it just doesn't strike me as anything new. Where the books, when I glance at the books and the artwork on the books, and like this creepy little thing here, well, it's probably not little, but this creepy thing here, when I glance at that, I'm like, wow, I'm struck with, wow, this artwork is just amazing. With this map, I have less of that feeling. That doesn't matter. I love it that it's there, and that there is this entire town map. And if you watch the trailer, you can really see how big this town is. It's not a town. It's a freaking. It's an empire type of capital type of city. It's bigger than a city. What do you call bigger than a city? Capital or something? I don't know. It's big. There's arenas, inns, libraries, there's everything. It is just freaking huge. And by the way, there's this entire political thing going on where they banned all grand gatherings of armies. So more than X amount of people armed standing together, it's illegal. So this is to not have the opportunity to wage war and everything. I love how they did it. I love that type of thing where the world is set up around that rule, and breaking that rule could have like enormous, like, it could be like a big thing if you break that rule, and people would probably come after you, and there would be war anyway, right? I don't know. I'll need to read it. And then for free, you get Stereo Plus, you'll get a free pack of miniatures that you will represent all the 4 new classes. They've created miniatures for the 4 new classes, and if you want to see those miniatures up close, watch the trailer. I mean, really watch the trailer. Don't back the Kickstarter if it's not for you. If you have already backed it, it's also fine. But do yourself a favor, watch that freaking trailer. It's awesome. Right, miniatures and cards. Look at this. There's an entire miniature pack and card pack, which like. This is a miniature pack, but I don't know why you would pick this up and not pick up the books. You might want the books in digital form for your iPad or whatever, and then you would have the miniatures and the cards separately to play. I don't know. But this is the kit. This is the one I would take, right? So it's so cool. And I really hope Tanares sends it to me to review, to unbox and review this super kit. It is the sleeve with the Game Master screen, with the 3 books in digital form. It is the big map, and it is all the miniatures and all the stuff. It is all the stuff. If Tanares would send me this, I would be super grateful, and I would be happy to review it and unbox it on my channel right here. So everybody watching, send an email to Tanares RPG, tell them to send me this stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Looks really amazing. They also have a board game bundle, by the way, worth mentioning. They have board games, and you can pick them up for a better price than they would be normally. Other than that, that is the Kickstarter. So why am I excited? Well, you've heard it. It looks awesome, and I'm just excited to step into a new world that is a whole new world that is just completely done. Right? It has its own political systems, it has its own capitals, it already has dungeons. It feels like stepping into a new MMORPG. I always love that feeling of just installing a new MMORPG and be like, oh, Final Fantasy 14, right? You install it on your computer and you start running and you level, you get like the mid levels, and then the world kind of opens up for you and you get these dungeons and you get places to go and new landscapes and stuff. Kind of feels like that, but in a tabletop RPG, so in your brain instead of on your computer screen, and I really love that. I love that when I did that with Cobalt Press. I love it when I did that with Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. Oh, they just got more money, by the way, with Odyssey of the Dragon Lords. I love it when they did that. I just love opening new settings where everything is created for that setting. It is all usable in your own setting, in different settings, but everything is created in their setting. Like Odyssey of Dragon Lords was really good, where everything just made sense in that Greek mythology type of setting. And this, I have a feeling they're going to do the same thing. At least they're going to spend their $1,591,263 in a good way and give us a new type of world with new type of art and just new type of politics and just something to get lost in. If you've watched my video until the very end, I'm super grateful for that. And I've got a question for you. What is your call to fame? What are you good at? I don't know. For example, I look really good in black. Black clothes just suit me for some reason. I don't know why, but they just do. People keep telling me that. What are you good at?